Hey, what is up, everybody? I can finally catch up with all the old videos that I've missed, because I've missed a lot from last week because of all school and everything. And I figured I'd start with the E60 that came on last Tuesday. And I figured I'd start with that, and then I work my way. I'm just gonna go in order by things I gotta get up. Um, So let's start with that. So E60, the reason why I'm talking about E60, I don't know anything really about sports that much, um, except for wrestling. And this I do, but apparently they do these things called E60 on ESPN, and it is a thing where they take you behind the scenes of what's going on. And I found that they announced last week on Monday Night Raw that they were going to do it for WWE NXT, and it's called This episode particular is called E60, and I'm going to put in parentheses WWE Behind the Scenes Review. That's what I'm going to call it. And I truly think that this is a very good documentary so far. I'm 14 minutes into it, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I love it. So they talk about NXT. Um, they talk about like superstars. They talk about how there's superstars that are gonna make it. Um, you have Vince McMahon, Triple H, um, because Vince McMahon's the chairman of the WWE. They go through him, talk about how he's the 69-year-old chairman of the WWE. They talk about Triple H and his role, talk about how he used to be a wrestler, but now he's the um, executive president of talent relations, pretty much the guy that runs NXT. And he talks about how you're full of crap if you don't enjoy going out there and feeling the 3,000s of people. He says you're full of crap if you don't enjoy that. They talk about character development, how you have to build a character, and that's what Vince McMahon talks about. And he says that it's all based on psychology, whether the fans love him or hate him. And Hulk Hogan talks about how it took time for him to invest into his character. It took time for the fan, well, how his character grew out in the 80s. And The Rock talked about how when he came in as Rocky Maivia, everybody hated him, so he became a bad guy, which is known as a heel. Um, and Stone Cold Steve Austin talked about how at first, when he came in, his character wasn't doing very well because he was brought in under the ring name the Ring Master. And then he said that he told Vince McMahon that he said that you have to let me be me and let me use my own attitude, and then I will be able to succeed. And that's exactly what happened. That's kind of what the gist of it was. They just talk about character development. And then it shows the speech that Triple H has given to all the NXT employees, talking about how that some that this is like that everybody that they are signing these guys to see if they have what it takes to compete in the WWE level. And he says that some of you might not be here next time we have this meeting because some of you might be on the main roster or some of you might be fired. And he says that you guys are the future of the WWE. So do with it what you will. And it just shows Triple H having this speech, and I really enjoy it. Um, and Triple H talks about how you have to have charisma to be able to succeed in the WWE. They just talk about charisma and that how it drives everybody in the WWE. And then it talks about how they opened up the WWE Performance Center, and it shows people training there like Colin Cassidy, um, Adrian Neville, Tyler Breeze. Who else does it show? It showed like Triple H teaching Bray Wyatt how to do his gimmick, which I thought was really cool. It shows him how to do his entrance and all that. And it shows Bailey. It shows Mojo Rawley. It shows Adrian Neville. It shows what else does it show? It shows like Corey Graves, Adam Rose, and Xavier Woods talks about how he wants to be the first wrestler to get his PhD. And I just really think it was good stuff. And then it cuts right to this guy. His name is Ray LaPonce. I believe that's how you say his name. And he's a wrestler. He's known today as Adam Rose, but I'm just gonna call him Ray because he did not feel like Adam Rose looking at him here. And we find out that Ray dropped out of high school, and he ended up just sleeping on the streets, and he would sleep in empty hotels. And he said that he was drinking a lot, and he would saw a lot of violent things, but the things that would keep him from coming back was his dream to become a professional wrestler. And we find, and he was wrestling on the independent scenes, and he would play the gimmick that from the old Karate Kid movie known as Z-Max. And then eventually he got called up to they said NXT, but it was really FCW, which stands for Florida Championship Wrestling, because that's what NXT used to be called. And he was brought in as a gimmick called Leo Kruger, and the gimmick he had as Leo Kruger was just so creepy that it was awesome. He's really creepy as Leo Kruger. I really like it. And then he was brought in under NXT. We do find out too that Ray is from Africa. I didn't mention that. And then he meets this woman named Cassandra, I believe her name was, and they went on a couple of dates and ended up getting married. And then in August, and she talks about too how she thought it was a special thing that Ray was able to keep this dream that he had since he was 10 years old. She said that was a special thing. And we found out in August of 2011, Ray and Cassandra were expecting their first child, but then 17 weeks, they went for a, what's it called? I forget what it's called, but they found out something was wrong with, they went for like a surround sound or something. I forget what it's called. And they found out something was wrong with their child, and they said that his liver wasn't going to be very good. There was some sort of disease that I don't remember. So when he was born, he still has it, and he's had to have 4 like surgeries or something done with him, 4 testings, and they ended up having a boy, and his name is a Maverick, and we find out that his food has to be fed through a tube, and that was kind of the gist of it. That was it for Ray, but that was the end of it. To be honest with you, this has been damn awesome so far. I thought this was very emotional to see Ray, and I'm just really enjoying watching this right now. They did tell us too in the NXT that only 20% of the NXT talent is gonna get promoted to the main roster like a year or something, and they even say that they even have different booths for the performance center. They don't just have like the wrestling ones where you go wrestle. There's a place where you can go work on your promo skills. There's a place where you can work on your acting skills. There's a gym where you can just go work out. Triple H even said that we turn these superstars into athletes, into superheroes and supervillains, and it's really awesome. And they talk about how NXT is on the WWE Network every Wednesday where you can go watch it. They really went full depth into this, and I'm really enjoying this so far. I'm just loving this. I like to see this in-depth look into NXT. It just shows how NXT is becoming big. And I'm only 14 minutes into it, and the thing's an hour, so I think this has been awesome stuff. So let's see what happens next, and I'll come back next commercial to give you my thoughts on it. Alright, so now it really starts to get good. Like, this is really starting to pick up. So we get to meet Ray a little bit more. Ray and LaPon. William Weagle, one of the trainers, is showing him how to do moves, and you see Bill DeMott talking him down, saying, if you get this right 19 times in a row, then you got it. So then Triple H, Bill DeMott, and Michael P.S. Hayes are talking about how like his character and all that. The talk Triple H says that he can play this evil character and be a nice guy in real life, but Bill DeMott and Michael P.S. Hayes doesn't think that they can do it. So then they'll find out that they're going to turn him into the face character, which means they're going to turn him into Adam Rose. And then we meet a new guy. We meet Austin Watson. We find out that Austin Watson grew up like in Africa or something, and we find out he was brought in to NXT, but before that he played other characters in TNA. He was Consequences Creed, and they did say, I didn't think they were gonna mention that, but they did. And then he said he was like a motivational speaker, which shows a little bit of that character. And then he came to FCW, and he as Xavier Woods in like 2009, I think they said. And then he went into no, I don't think it was FCW. It was actually NXT as Xavier Woods, and this whole thing is his whole gimmick is he loves he loves the 1990s. He loves all that stuff. He likes stuff from the 1990s. He always wets his hair. He talks about how he has to wet it really well, so that because his entrances he has to do the head lift, and he says that he's working to get his PhD as a WWE superstar. He wants to be the first person to do that. And then you see Triple H, Michael Cole, and Dusty Rhodes talking about, like, you know, Xavier Woods' future. And Michael Cole says he could be like the next future of the company. He says that he can take a role and just nail it. He's always changing his character. And Triple H says that his goal is to get him off NXT by the fall. He wants to get him on the Raw with SmackDown. And then we meet Matt Padinsky, I believe his name was. We find out that Matt Padinsky started wrestling when he was a freshman in high school, but he loved the sport when he was a really young kid. He always loved it. He had a wrestling cake when he was a kid, and then he even got paid to wrestle in the Independents for just $5. And then we meet his wife, Amy Padinsky, and she didn't even believe him when he told her that he was a wrestler. And then they got married, and then Matt Padinsky got called up to FCW. He was the one that got called up to FCW as Corey Graves, and he just started wrestling, and he gets to play this punk rock kind of guy that does whatever the fuck he wants to do, and he feels like that he's playing that role and the wrestling ring, but he gets to come home and be Matt, and he really likes it. But the problem is he gets so many concussions that he's always hurt, and that's what Amy's worried about. He's worried about him getting hurt. He's worried about his career longevity, and he's been had so many concussions that now he's wondering whether or not he can still do this. There's questions about that, and Matt Padinsky now has 2 children. And Matt Padinsky doesn't want to give this up because he's been doing this for so long that this is all he really knows. All he really knows is how to be a wrestler, and that's what he wants to do for the rest of his life. And then it went to commercial. I really enjoyed this stuff. I really am enjoying this documentary so far. I'm really liking it. And it's just awesome stuff. I really like it. So now let's see what happens now. I'm gonna come back when it goes to commercial break, but this has been a great documentary so far. Alright, so Matt Polinsky, and I forgot to mention about him, is he loves tattoos. I didn't say that last time. He loves tattoos, and that's why he has so many. Matt Polinsky, though, they talked about how his character was really taking off in the summer of 2013, and Triple H, Michael Hayes, and Dusty Rhodes were talking about how they were going to send him off into the main roster around the fall of 2013, but it never happened because he ended up getting another concussion. So then they talk about the concussion test and the drug test, and Vince McMahon says that they have to do this because they were all year-round sport. They don't take breaks like other sports do. And they said they started doing this in 2006, which I think is a little bit bullshit, because if that were true, then Chris Benoit probably might still be alive today. And he does say that the healthier you are, the better your character will be. And then when Matt got that concussion, we found out that his son has asked how he was doing, and his wife his Amy said that he's not doing very well. Well, he said that he's doing fine. He just got hurt again. So we find out that Matt's son made a code that said, "My daddy's my hero because he is a wrestler and he's strong." And Amy told his son not to give it to Matt because he's afraid that he will feel like a failure or something. And Matt tells him that he can't fail because we found out in March of 2014 Matt got another concussion. So he calls his wife, and Matt does say that failure wasn't an option in this, and he says, "I have some news," and then it cuts to commercial. So I have a feeling I know what this news is gonna be, just because I know what happens, but I'm not gonna spoil it for those people who don't know. But this is just really intense stuff. I'm really enjoying this thing with Matt. And it's just amazing stuff. I love it. This has been a great documentary so far, and I'm only halfway into it. Well, a little bit over halfway, but let's see what happens next. Alright, so we find out about Matt. And we find out Matt is worried that he's going to get released from the WWE because of all his concussions. And he says he doesn't want to do that because that's the only thing that he knows. The only thing he knows is wrestling. And I just kind of already talked about that. And Triple H says that he had to disqualify him because of all his concussions. He didn't really do that. He did it for Matt's health. He did it so that way Matt wouldn't get hurt, because he wanted to do it for Matt's health long term. And Matt was upset. He went up in the locker room. He blew a gasket. So then he was out of work. And Michael Cole even said that you thought you're going to be a big star, and then something like that happened. And he talks about how Matt is a family man. So then we find out his wife, Amy, had to go back to work as a teacher because Matt doesn't... Pretty much, all Matt really knows is wrestling. That's the only job he gets. Without wrestling, he doesn't have a job. So then we find out in December, Triple H called him, and he said, and he offers Matt a 2-year announcing job. He's going to be a commentator. And he accepts, and Matt said that he is happy that he gets to live his dream, even if it's not in the ring. He says that it feels like a great thing, and then he calls his wife and tells her about it, and it's a big happy ending for Matt. Even though he doesn't get to live his dream in the ring, he gets to live his dream through commentary. So Matt, it's a happy ending for. So I was happy about that. I knew this had happened anyways, just because I've been watching the product, but I think it's a nice happy way to end it off. So then we meet Austin. And Austin has his big debut as Xavier Woods on Raw. And Road Dogg's giving him advice, telling them this isn't NXT anymore. This is the big leagues. This is the main roster, and you have to step up your game. And Vince McMahon said he had to change up his character because some things don't work as well on the main roster as they would on NXT. So it shows his debut, him coming out with the Funkin' Actors, which consist of Naomi and Cameron at the time. And it showed Xavier Woods defeating Heath Slater in a match. I don't get why Vince McMahon, though, thought this gimmick would work on the fucking main roster. The gimmick he had on NXT probably was better, so I'm just saying, yeah. I don't get it. That just proves how out of touch Vince is, And Triple H is congratulating him backstage. He says the only thing is that you didn't let the fans sink into who you were. So, that was the only problem. So, it's all a big happy ending for Austin because now he's wrestling on Raw every week and he gets to show his talent. So, it's a big happy ending for him. But now we move on back to Ray LaPon. And Ray LaPon says that this is an anticipation 2 months for him. Because he feels like he's going to fail, but he doesn't want to put that in his mind. He does not want to invite failure. And then it cuts to commercial. So I wonder what's going to happen here. I can't wait to see what happens. I think this is going to be the final commercial, and I'm really looking forward to it. So let's see what happens. I'll be back to finish out the video. Okay, it's over now, and it was an amazing show, and I'm gonna talk about my thoughts on it when I'm done talking about this part of it. So what happens is they want to revamp um, Ray's character because they feel like Leo Kruger's working, but it's not working on some points that they want it to work, and they feel like that if it goes up to the main roster, that it won't work. Um, so Bill DeMott and Triple H are trying to come up with ways to get this character to work, and Ray came up with a new character, um, and the gimmick, and they really want this character to work too, because Ray's actually expecting another child on the way too, um, and so they come up with the character, and the character's going to be. At first, they wanted to do it like an explorer, like an Indiana Jones type of character, but they changed it. His character is now Adam Rose. That's going to be his complete new character. They worked for weeks on it. Triple H even showed them how the entrance the way he wanted it. Adam obviously Ray was nervous about this because he was he wasn't sure if this was gonna work or not. He wasn't, because could be like a make or break situation for him, and he was really nervous about it. So when he comes out, he ends up having a match with Wesley Blake. When he came out with the Adam Rose entrance, the Adam Rose gimmick, where he had a lot of these wrestlers around him, everybody was chanting, "This is awesome," and he ends up going over in the match. He walks out, and Triple H comes up, and everybody says, and he says that no one was chanting Leo Kruger. They were chanting, "This is awesome," and they completely forgot about Leo Kruger. And Bill DeMott said he can now sleep tonight. And Ray said this was a big moment for him. He said that this proved all the doubters wrong. And then that's kind of was pretty much the end of the documentary. But afterwards, it does say where everybody ended up afterwards. We found out that Ray and Cassandra ended up having their second child name. I believe it was Lula. It was another boy. And Maverick ended up having to go in for more surgeries. And in April, he started going to school. And in May of 2014, Ray got promoted to the main roster as the gimmick Adam Rose. And we find out that Austin Watson still competes on the main WWE shows. He is now known as the one of the members of WWE Tag Team Champions, The New Day, with himself, Kofi Kingston, and Big E. And he says he is going to complete his PhD in 2016. And we find out that Matt is an analyst on the Raw pre-show, and him and his wife in July of 2014 had another kid. I forget. I believe her name was Lulu. And what else? Oh, he find out that he hosts a show on the WWE network called Culture Shock. And we found out Bill DeMott resigned from the WWE because of bullying because people were saying that, because the NXT wrestlers were saying that he was bullying them. And we find out that NXT has promoted 21 wrestlers to the main roster, so that's a pretty good amount. Everybody says, why not more? Well, NXT has only been around since 2012, and it takes time to develop these characters. But that was the end of the show. I loved this documentary. I thought it was very informative. It was very emotional at times. I really loved it. This proves that Triple H is the guy that needs to start running the company, because Triple H gives you opportunities. He gave Matt an opportunity because his wrestling career was over, and Triple H had to send him home, and he didn't have to hire him back as an announcer. He really didn't, but he did, and he really wanted Ray to succeed. He really wanted him to succeed. He even went out of his way to come up with a new gimmick for him. He really wanted Ray to succeed with the whole Adam Rose gimmick, and I think it worked. The Adam Rose gimmick does seem corny, but to be honest with you, now seeing it explained, it does work. If you know, You know, the only reason that it doesn't work on the main roster is because of the way the creative is booking it. I do think that it does work on NXT. I actually was enjoying it on NXT. I think what ruined Adam Rose's gimmick was the bunny. That's exactly what ruined his gimmick. I was enjoying Adam Rose up until that point. And as for Austin Watson, I think Triple H even said that I didn't mention this, that the because even though the circumstances, you did good on your debut. Because I think Triple H did not like the gimmick that Austin had. He did not, he was fine with the way he was on NXT. They kept the name Xavier Woods, but he did not like the gimmick that he had. He didn't like it. He came out to Brodus Clay's theme song, and he didn't like it. So I can't really blame him. I just don't. They really completely dropped the ball with him. They dropped the ball with Adam Rose. To be honest with you, if they just really need to get Triple H, to be the chairman of the WWE. You need to get the wrestlers that are booking NXT to book Raw, and I believe that Raw will be a lot better, and the characters will be a lot better. Everything will be amazing. But this documentary was fucking amazing. This was a fucking awesome documentary, to be honest with you. If I had to rate this from 1 out of 10, I rated a 10 out of 10. It was that good. I thought this documentary was amazing. But that's my thoughts on the documentary. That's my whole review. If you've seen this documentary, you can leave your thoughts on what you thought of it in the comments down below. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'll be back at some point today to give you another video. And you can also subscribe to my channel if you haven't as well.